Well, hello there. And for the fanatics, as your lovely host here, once again, it is Rai. Now, before we'll give our picks for the division round, we'll tell you how we did last week. Michael, you have the stuff in the paper, so tell
Yeah.
everyone how both of us did.
Okay, so the first game for the Texans versus the Bills, I had the Texans, you had the Bills, so I had that one right, you got that one wrong. On the next one was the Patriots versus the Titans. We both had the Patriots, we was both wrong on that one. Then we had the Saints versus the Vikings, we both had the Saints, we was both wrong on that one. And in the last game, we had the Seahawks versus the Eagles, we both had the Seahawks, we got that one correct. So that brings my total for last week to 2-2, and you was 1-3, bringing our overall totals to I had 158 right and 101 wrong. You had 151 right and 108 wrong.
Wow. It's so hard to pick these games, you know? Wow.
Yeah.
So last week, overall, what was the best game, the biggest shocker? The Patriots game, the best game, or what do you think the biggest shocker was last week?
I would say the Patriots losing the Titans was a shocker. I thought they could play with them just because they run the ball really good.
Yeah.
But that shocked me. But I'd have to go with the Vikings beating the Saints in New Orleans, as I had the Saints in the Super Bowl, so that one was the biggest surprise for me. I didn't have the Patriots in the Super Bowl when I predicted, but I did have the.
Okay.
I thought the Saints was probably the best team on that division at side, and I was wrong, I must admit.
And do you know back-to-back Saints lost to the Vikings in that miracle game, and then last week they lost, and then of course they lost to the LA Chargers in that bogus call, you know?
Yep.
Now, do you think last week was a push-off interference? What do you think last week?
I think it was a good no call. I don't think he really got him that good. I mean, he did push off a tad bit, but I mean, you got to stop him. You know, it's the playoffs. You know, you got to let him play, and I didn't think that was nothing terrible. He didn't push the guy down.
It seemed like, you know, Saints had a good season in the regular season and playoffs the last few years. They choked for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings knew that the backup was in. They had the matchup. You know, it was just the backup come in. They had the matchup, and they took their shot, and it got it. I thought it was a really good play. It's unfortunate for the Saints because Drew Brees will be another. If he comes back next year, he'll be another year older. If he's back, I mean, he's gonna be a free agent too, so we don't know. He may not even technically be back, but I would assume he'll play one more year. I'd assume he won't go out like that because they got a really good team. So, but that's all I gotta say about that.
Okay, now it's division round, so go ahead and you talk about it first.
Okay, we got the Minnesota Vikings going to the 49ers. That'll be the Saturday at 4:30 Eastern time game. Who are you picking in this one?
Oh, this will be a good game. I'd love to see Minnesota shock the Niners in San Francisco because San Francisco had the home field advantage throughout. I think both teams got good defenses, right, Michael?
Yeah, they both got really good defenses.
You know, I'm going with an upset. I'm going with Minnesota, and they go to the NFC title game for the first time in a while.
I'm gonna go. This is the toughest one for me.
I know. See,
I was really wanting to pick the Vikings because I feel like the winner of this game goes to the Super Bowl.
You think so?
I really think so because there's usually that wild card team that always makes a push at it. They win in the wild card, and then it's just like they get on a roll. And I think the Vikings very well could be that team. But I think the 49ers are playing really good. But I'm going to pick the 49ers just because they're at home, and they've looked pretty solid all year. So that brings us to our next game, the Saturday night game. We got the Tennessee Titans, the other team that beat the Patriots out, going to Baltimore, the number 1 seed on that side. Who you picking on that one?
This should be a very good game. Hopefully, I say Ravens. You know, they're on fire. I know Jackson did not play last week of the season, right? They rest him up.
Yeah, he's been off for 2 weeks now because they didn't play week 17, and they didn't play last week because of the bye.
Yeah, so that might affect his gameplay or whatever. But last time he had a playoff game, he had a horrible performance against the Chargers. Remember that game?
Mm-hmm.
Did they win that game or lose?
No, last year they lost in the playoffs, but their offense is totally better this year than it was last year.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, Lamar led the league in passing touchdowns this year, so it's a totally different team than they was last
Well,
year.
I'm going with the Ravens go to the AFC title game. That's just my prediction.
And I agree with your prediction. I'm picking Baltimore as well in this one. I think it'll be a low-scoring game because they'll both run the ball a whole lot. But the thing is, if Baltimore gets up, because Baltimore can score points. Patriots have kind of struggled lately. Baltimore gets up, that means Ryan Tannehill will have to throw the ball. He can't not throw for 60 yards and win the game. So I'm picking Baltimore to win this game as well.
Okay.
That takes us to Sunday, the first game of the day at 3 o'clock, which is a weird tip-off or kickoff time. But we got the Houston Texans at Kansas City. Who are you picking in this one?
Kansas City versus who?
The Texans.
That would be a good game. Both young quarterbacks. I'd love to see Kansas City go back to the AFC title game. It's going to be very, very difficult. I'm going with Houston. I messed up. I'm going with Kansas City.
I agree with you there. I'm picking Kansas City as well in this game. I think it'll be pretty good. I just think that they'll pressure Deshaun Watson a lot and they'll get to him. They'll just blitz the whole game. But then that brings us to our Sunday night game at 6:40. We got the Seattle Seahawks going to at Green Bay Packers. Who are you picking in this one?
Well, you know how I feel about Green Bay. I cannot stand them. I love to see a huge upset for Seattle. And I heard from the forecast it's going to be a lot of snow. So, and then the Seattle does not do good in cold weather, especially last snow. Russell. So I'm picking a huge upset just for the hell of it. Seattle on the road.
I'm rooting for Seattle in this. I don't like Seattle and I don't like Green Bay. I'm rooting for Seattle as well in this one. But I'm going to go with Green Bay just because of the weather. It being in the snow. And I feel like if Seattle had their running backs, I would pick Seattle. But I feel like with their backup running backs of Marshawn Lynch and them, I just feel like it's going to be really tough to play in a game where it's going to be that much snow. So I'm going to pick the Packers just because they have the better running game overall. But
So your prediction is Green Bay versus the Niners in the NFC title game, correct?
Yep, I had the 49ers and Packers, and I had the Ravens and Chiefs. You've got...
And then mine is Seattle versus Minnesota for the NFC title game, and then for the AFC, Chiefs versus...
the Ravens.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good game, too, if that does happen, you know?
Yep. Yeah, all right, if you could pick the Super Bowl right now, who are the two teams you'd want to see in the Super Bowl?
Well,
what would be your
Ravens, the AFC,
okay.
No doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the NFC, I go with Seattle because he's fun to watch.
Russell Wilson versus Lamar Jackson. That would be a pretty cool Super Bowl. I think.
I don't see Rodgers because Rodgers had his time already, but I know he wants another championship before he hangs it up. But it's very difficult to go back.
I think it'd be neat if it was the 49ers and Ravens just because they played in the Super Bowl about 6 or 7 years ago, with Colin Kaepernick and Joe Flacco. I think because it's totally different, Because back when the Ravens was there, Joe Flacco was he just stayed in the pocket. And now Lamar Jackson is a scrambling quarterback, what Colin Kaepernick was. So that'd be kind of like the roles are completely reversed. I think that would be neat. But if I had to pick, I would... Chiefs and Packers would be a pretty cool game, but I kind of would like to see Minnesota Vikings make that push, even though Kirk D. Cousins makes me mad, as a Redskins fan, but I would kind of like to see the Vikings versus the Ravens probably in the Super Bowl, or the Chiefs. Either one of them I think I'd be pretty happy with.
Yeah, because the Chiefs have not been in the Super Bowl since Super Bowl 1, and that's been a long time ago. They overdue.
Yep, I think that would be a pretty cool Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But that's,
and I don't know if you know, but Packers and the Chiefs, they met at Super Bowl 1 back in the day.
Oh, did they really?
Yep.
Wow, and that would be a cool Super Bowl. That'd be Rodgers versus Mahomes. So Mahomes going for his first Super Bowl, and Rodgers could try to get that number 2 Super Bowl. That would actually be a really cool Super Bowl for this to be the. Is this the 100th season of the NFL or the 100th season?
Yeah.
So football. Or NFL, I guess, or whatever they want to call it. Technically, this year they're celebrating.
I think Patrick Holmes is better than Rodgers. Rodgers is good, but he doesn't go out of pocket that much, does he?
A little bit. He scrambles if he has to.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all I've pretty much got for this week.
Okay, that's our recap for Wild Card weekend, and that's our pick for Divisional weekend. We will be back next week for the Championship Sunday.